Brooke, the last time you were here, we were talking about the Pretty Baby Brooke Shields documentary, and I just love that documentary. I think I love you, and I think it's so revealing about you, and I thought Allie and the director did such a good job. But what has it been like on the other side of that, now that you've had a while and distance from the documentary? When you look back on that, what was rewarding about having that out there? It's just like your life story and a reevaluation of what you went through as a child in the public spotlight at that time. And also what was difficult about it?
I think, first of all, you were the first one to even bring up the idea. Do you remember that? On
Yeah.
your couch
Yeah.
talking to me about a documentary? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I'd have to, I don't know if it'll ever happen. And then Allie and George came to me with the idea. And so felt like it was all sort of in the family, and I knew I would be dealt with fairly. I think the most rewarding part was I'd never seen all of my footage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really never watched anything I've done. If there's suddenly Susan is probably the only thing I've watched, and then some publicity, B-roll of the Broadway stuff that I've done. But I never really went back and looked at any of my interviews or any of the sort of the craziness and the storm that I was in the eye of. And so watching all of it, I marveled at that little girl that I saw. And it sort of choked me up because it's me, but you feel this sort of this empathy for her that I didn't know I could have had for myself, and seeing it as an adult and seeing it as a mother. So that was sort of the most rewarding, because I thought, God, I am talented and I am strong, and I did survive all that, and I've come out at least fairly put together. I have good people in my life, and I haven't been a total train wreck. And so it was rewarding to sort of pat myself on the back and say, you've done good, kid, like you're okay. And it's that personal approval that you usually seek from everybody else.
Yeah.
To have it for myself. The hardest part was I didn't prime my younger daughter enough for what it was about. And they too don't know they know very little about my life and career. And kids, your parents don't exist before kids.
Right, exactly.
Your mother didn't exist before you were alive. Like that's not possible. No one else could have had any ownership over your mother. She's yours. And so I didn't prep my daughter, and she wasn't aware of a lot of it, and she just took it very to heart and was very emotional about it. So I feel bad about that.
But what a great, especially as someone gets older and has their own life experiences, having that document for your family, I think is just great.
Well, and the ending where you're sitting with your daughters talking was so moving and beautiful. So
and
I
that
hope
was,
that too,
Lana said to me, our director, who's genius, she said, look, the one piece we're sort of missing, it was like a month after we were all finished. She said, there's no real B-roll of you guys around the house or at the table or something like that. And I said, okay, well, what do you need? And we hadn't asked Chris or the girls to be interviewed. There wasn't really a place for that. And I didn't know, I knew we were mic'd, but I didn't know we were going to talk about anything. And Lana just asked my girls, have you seen any of your mother's movies or earlier movies? That was the only question. And what spurred from that one question is a dialogue that I don't know if I would have had with my girls, and to hear them have very strong opinions and feel safe enough to voice them without thinking I was going to judge them or they were going to get in trouble or I was going to get insulted and I looked at them and I thought, okay, they're at least women who are not afraid to voice their opinion. And, to a mother, that's a big deal. Like, it makes you think, okay, they're going to be okay.